¿Cómo están? Muy buenas noches. Hoy tengo una conversación de larga distancia con Joël Dicker, que está en Grecia, me dice, y que está a punto de sacar un nuevo libro. So, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm like all of us taken this very weird time of coronavirus. I'm not sure what to expect. And I'm in deep thought with all the people that have been touched by the virus and that had consequences physically or lost close people or even for economic reason. I think a lot of people are suffering right now with this situation, and I really think about them and I wish them the best.
Before talking about the book, I just have one question about this, because I've spoken with a lot of writers in this time, and writers are used to be in their houses long times, etc. But they also, some of them tell me, yeah, but that's because we want to be there at that time. So how has been for you as a writer this strange time?
It's true, you know. I think that for myself, when I go and I confine myself to write, when I isolate myself from the rest of the people, and I isolate myself from the society because I want to be in my bubble and I want to write, this only works because there is a society around that keeps on living. And I think that for an author, going in confinement, what I mean is like creating its bubble to write is something that we need, because we need to isolate from the society. We need to take a step back in order to be able to create a new world, which is the world of the literature, of the book, the world of the story that we are working on. But at the moment, as the society stops working on, at the moment the society just stops and stares and everybody is confined, so there is no outside. There is no outside that we need to protect ourselves from, and so we don't need this bubble anymore. And so for me it was very weird, because I'm used to go to my own little office every day to write, and I could have kept going because I'm alone in my office, and it was allowed in Geneva where I have my office, but I stopped going there, because for me the whole point of going to my office, it's first of all, go to the streets, meet the people, see actions, see a lively society around myself, and then go into my office and lock the door and create the bubble. But without the society outside, it was not point to do this anymore.
Strange. It's good that you said Geneva, because my first question is, I read the book, and this is a guy with your name that does what you do in the city that you live. And that's strange compared to to your other books. How it seems more personal. Is that what you wanted to do? Was kind of exploring things about your city, your life, or it was just a literary resource?
No, there's many reasons why the book is set in Geneva and why there's one of the characters whose name is Joël, like me. One of the reasons, the most obvious reason, is the fact that I'm a Swiss author, and my previous books were all set in the States, in the United States of America. And I was like, I need to set the next story in Geneva, because I want to speak about Geneva. And also what I realized, because I've been lucky, we met in Guadalajara. So what I mean is I've been traveling a lot, and I've been meeting journalists and readers from all over the world. And all of a sudden I had the feeling that it was time also to share some more personal stuff with the readers, the booksellers, the journalists, and everybody. So setting the story in Geneva was allowing me to be in a more personal way to speak about Switzerland and to speak about Geneva. And it was also for me the time to speak about my publisher, Bernard Defalois, who passed away 2 years ago. And I really wanted to share some thoughts about him. So on that aspect, it was already very personal. So I felt like it was a good opportunity to talk about Geneva as well, and to describe Geneva, not described like with facts, but describe about how I feel about this city and how I feel about the country. And I decided to have a character who is Joël as well, not because I want to be in the story, not at all, but because, it happened something very funny for me the last 5-6 years. Readers think that all the narrators of my book are myself. And for instance, in Harry Quebert, I have Marcus Goldman in New York, and my readers will say, but you are Marcus Goldman. And I was like, no, I am Joël Dicker in Geneva. And so that made me realize that who has the power in a book? It's not the author, it's the readers. They are the one that will decide everything. And me, as a reader, I can spend 10 pages describing a character. If the readers decide that this character is different than what I decided, the readers will win. So I wanted to remind the reader that he has this power, because now I will say, one of the characters, his name is Joël, but it's not me. And now it's up to the readers to make a decision about that.
The other thing that I saw that I loved is that, you've been called the new phenomenon of novela negra, what we call of noir, etc. And I loved that this is a locked room, and it's a classic in that literature, the enigma of the locked room, and you start with that locked room, and it is that locked room that creates the mystery and the action around the novel. So it's also a call of this is the literature I do, and I recognize that as the origins with, I don't know, Agatha Christie or all of those, what we call the enigma of the locked room in a modern way,
Yes, it's true. What you say is very true, because a lot of the ingredients in this book, the hotel, the locked room, the people, the atmosphere, are really coming from what I would say the ancient time of crime story. For instance, Sir Conan Doyle, the Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie. For me, it's funny because I discovered them very late. Just 1 or 2 years ago, I knew them, of course. I knew they were existing, but I started to read, 2 years ago, maybe I started to read Conan Doyle. And I had never read Conan Doyle before. And I discovered Sherlock Holmes and then Agatha Christie, but not the famous Agatha Christie. All the short stories, all the little short stories that she wrote. And I was fascinated because I really loved the atmosphere. And in the end, I was reading this story. I was devouring this story. I was like, wow, that's fantastic. But what was hooking me, what was taking me, was not really the crime or the resolution of the crime itself. That was, most of the time I was like, I don't really care about it. And most of the time, the resolution of the crime is not that amazing. It's not blown away. But all the rest, the atmosphere, the people, it's so fantastic. When you start a Sherlock Holmes, for instance, and you see the fog in London, and you see this person coming to Sherlock Holmes' house.
And let me tell you another thing that is, and let me tell you another thing that comes from those books. When this girl in Geneva tells Joël and says, "Let's do it," and Joël says, "Really? Are we going to do this?" And she says, "Yeah, this kind of pairs, that work very well to go through the action. In a way, it's what happened in those books also, which is amazing because you put it in a modern setup. They're completely modern. There's another stuff, but it's beautiful."
Yeah, thank you. But it's true what you say about there's a duet. There's always two people that will investigate, and they're helping each other. And there's always one in my book. It's the girl, because that's the reality in life. The girl is more courageous. She has no fear of nothing. She wants to go. She wants to solve the case. And the guy is like, but no, maybe we should not. And she's the one that leads the situation. It's like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. And it's true. It's absolutely right. There's all these codes from this. There's what I call ancient time crime stories. But it's really what was the most important. It was the atmosphere.
And the atmosphere and the other characters, because of course, this is Geneva. This is also power. There is a bank. There is all of that we come to know from the outside and from the world. That's Geneva also, no?
Yeah, for me, this book was also, I had to do a mix between what I feel for Geneva. What I mean is I wanted to tell Geneva through my feelings, not to describe Geneva, the buildings are like this and the streets are like that, but to tell the readers, what do I feel when I see these buildings? What do I feel when I walk down the streets? But also in another way, I had to build something a little more cliché to get the readers to the Swiss points. And the Swiss points are the banks and also the way banks are ruled. You know, it's a cliché, but it's also part of the reality in Switzerland. The industry of the banking is very, very important for the economy. And so it was also something I wanted to tell a bit about.
Well, and that goes there. And then this is a book a little bit like maybe Harry Quiver, which makes it easy and fascinating to read, with very short chapters, interchanging time and going there. I'm going to take you there with very short. It's very action driven, isn't it?
Yeah, but because it's I feel like this kind of story, because I don't have a plan when I write the story. I don't have a plan before, and I don't know what will happen in the story. So I have an idea, and an idea, and an idea. And I have these characters, and all of them, and there's many of them, and each of them has its own background and its own personal story and everything. And I need to tell all of this. And I feel like the best way to tell many, many, many things about those people is to make it short and come back to one, then one, then one. Because otherwise, it seems maybe, or it can seem like being confusing, but I think that it's not, because the more short part you have, and the more, okay, this is what happens, because what we would say is one information at a time. So one information about this character, and then another about this one, and another about this one, and we go back to the first one. But you need to be efficient if you want to tell a lot about them, because otherwise, if you give too much information at one moment, you will lose the reader.
Well, you didn't lose me. I don't think you're going to lose readers with this one. It was a pleasure talking to you as always. The book comes out in a couple of days in Mexico. I think it's gonna be a success as the others have been. Keep safe, Joël. And
thank you, you too, all of you.
It was good talking to you. We'll see each other in Guadalajara soon, I hope.
Yes,
as we saw,
see you for
some
real
years
very
ago.
soon with handshakes and everything.
Exactly.
Thank you. Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Gracias a todos ustedes. Joël Dicker, El enigma de la habitación 622. Pónganse a leer. Good night.